3 a.m. Deep in the Russian interior, a staggering 310 miles from the Ukrainian border, a silent predator is fighting the freezing winds and icing wings to reach its target. This is the GOGOL-M, launching from a hidden catapult in the dead of night. Tonight, it is flying a mission that defies every rule of modern warfare, penetrating the deepest layer of Russian air defense not with speed, but with audacity. Tucked securely under the GOGOL-M's wings are two FPV drones weighing less than 15 pounds each. They are the assassins, and the mothership is merely the ride. The total cost of this entire strike package is under $15,000, less than the price of a used Ford F-150. Yet, guided by an AI smart pilot system that reads the terrain like a 3D map, this budget-friendly formation is currently navigating the nap of the Earth. The target waiting in the mist below is a logistical goldmine that Russian command believes is untouchable. These are the vital organs for Russia's breakthrough tank fleet, worth tens of millions of dollars. 3 days ago, a local partisan fed up with the war sent encrypted coordinates to Kiev, marking this exact spot with a digital X. Now, on the operator's screen in a Ukrainian bunker, the red threat rings of Pantsir S1 and Tor M2 batteries glow menacingly around the depot, but the GOGOL-M is already inside the perimeter. Inside the command bunker, hundreds of miles away, the Ukrainian operator is essentially a passenger on his own mission. He wipes his palms on his jeans, his eyes glued to the telemetry stream that updates with agonizing slowness. Suddenly, a violent gust of wind shears off the Ural Mountains, slamming into the lightweight airframe. The drone drops 10 feet in a split second, its right wingtip missing a towering pine tree by mere inches. It is a heart-stopping moment. If this were a standard remote-controlled flight, the lag would have crashed the drone instantly. But the AI reacts faster than human reflexes ever could, calculating the airflow and adjusting the ailerons in milliseconds to snap the aircraft back to level flight. The GOGOL-M stabilizes, continuing its silent zigzag course through the mist. To the Russian radar operator scanning the horizon for high-altitude bombers, the airspace looks empty. The freezing fog and the low altitude are masking the mothership perfectly. The countdown on the screen ticks down relentlessly. 100 miles, 50 miles. The ghost is closing in. 03:15 a.m. The GOGOL-M reaches the drop zone, 30 miles from the depot, and the mission shifts from smuggling to assassination. With a mechanical click, the underwing latches release. The two fiber-optic FPV drones drop into the freezing mist like paratroopers, their motors screaming to life as they stabilize and begin their low-level sprint toward the target. Inside the bunker, the operator takes manual control of FPV-1. The fiber-optic spool begins to unwind, transmitting a crystal-clear, unjammable video feed that looks like 4K cinema compared to standard static-filled analog. Through the lens, he spots the prize. The distinct crates of V92S2F engines, stacked like firewood in the open yard, but the wind is fighting him, pushing the lightweight drone toward the tree line. "Not today," he mutters, fighting the stick to thread the needle between two frozen birch trees. Suddenly, the Russian air defense grid wakes up. The separation of the drones creates a momentary radar spike, enough to trigger the automated reflex of a nearby Pantsir S1. 57E6 interceptor missile tears off the rail, accelerating to Mach 3 in a heartbeat, hunting the mothership. On the telemetry screen, the threat warning flashes red. The GOGOL-M, piloted by its AI, executes a violent evasive zigzag, banking hard toward the forest floor. The Russian missile, confused by the sudden altitude drop and the ground clutter, screams past the drone and detonates 200 feet away, showering the canopy with shrapnel. Inside the Russian command vehicle, the radar operator stares at his screen in disbelief, watching the target blip vanish into the noise. "What the hell is down there?" he yells, realizing too late that something just slipped through his fingers. 3:16 a.m. While the Russians are still trying to figure out what just dodged their missile, FPV-1 slams home. The operator guides the drone directly into the side of a shipping container packed with engine components. The 4.4-pound shaped charge detonates, punching through the thin metal wall and igniting the preservation oils and packing crates inside. A fireball erupts, illuminating the foggy depot like a flare. High above the tree line, the GOGOL-M mothership stops hiding. It enters a predetermined loiter pattern, banking aggressively to increase its radar cross-section. It is now playing the role of the matador, waving a red cape at the Russian bulls. The Tor M2 battery takes the bait instantly. Its radar achieves a hard lock and a second missile streaks into the sky. The GOGOL-M dives again, plunging below 100 feet and using the dense forest as a shield. The missile loses its lock in the ground clutter and detonates harmlessly against a hillside. Meanwhile, FPV-2 is sprinting through the chaos. The operator, now controlling the second drone, has to navigate through the smoke and debris of the first explosion. He spots the glimmer of relict ERA panels stacked on pallets, blocks of explosive armor designed to save tanks, now about to destroy them. The Russian air defense crews are in full panic mode, screaming "Fire everything!" over the radio. Tracers from 30mm cannons slash through the fog, hunting the invisible killers, but they are shooting at shadows while the real threat is skimming the pavement at 60 miles per hour. 03:17 a.m. The situation on the ground turns critical. FPV-2 is flying blind, navigating a gauntlet of falling debris and thick black smoke from the first explosion. A piece of jagged siding shears off a container and tumbles directly into the flight path. In the bunker, the operator gasps, twitching his wrist to bank the drone hard to the right. He finds a miraculous gap between two burning crates, a space no wider than a doorway, and punches the throttle. He clears the wreckage and spots the secondary target, a stack of T-90M turrets. But sitting ominously next to them is something even better, pallets of 125mm high-explosive tank ammunition. The shaped charge slams into the turret crate, but the shockwave instantly compromises the ammo pallets next door. The result is a terrifying domino effect. The propellant casings ignite, triggering a violent chain reaction. High above, the GOGOL-M is still playing the most dangerous game of tag in the world. By staying airborne, it keeps the Russian radar fixated on the sky, drawing heat away from the ground attack. The Tor M2 battery bites again, launching a second missile at the mothership. The radar warning receiver screams in the operator's ear. "Dodge it, mama!" he yells at the screen. The AI smart pilot takes over. Detecting the incoming threat vector, the GOGOL-M dives aggressively, dropping below the tree line and weaving through the forest canopy at 90 miles per hour. Its 3D perception sensors map every branch and trunk in milliseconds, carving a path through the woods that no human pilot could fly. 03:18 a.m. Through the high-definition camera of the final FPV drone, the devastation is clear. The depot is already an inferno, but the mission isn't just to damage, it is to erase. The operator scans the yard for the last high-value target and spots it. The central control unit containing the specialized thermal optics for the T-90M's fire control system. On the ground, the Russian personnel have abandoned any attempt to defend the facility. They are running for their lives, scrambling into trucks or diving into ditches as secondary explosions cook off around them. The Pantsir battery fires one last desperate burst of 30mm cannon fire into the smoke, praying to hit something, but the shells tear harmlessly through the empty air. In the bunker, the operator's heart is racing in sync with the on-screen countdown. 12 seconds, he whispers. The drone dives. The Russian gunners watch helplessly as the small black shape disappears into the heart of the facility. The final warhead detonates dead center. The shockwave rips the roof off the storage hangar. High above the chaos, the GOGOL-M mothership, having survived the gauntlet, banks away into the safety of the freezing mist. Its job is done. It turns north, climbing silently back to cruising altitude to begin the long journey home. The operator leans back in his chair, exhaling a breath he feels like he's been holding for an hour. "Package delivered," he says. "Return to sender." The final shaped charge detonates with a violence that defies its size, punching a superheated hole through the engine crates and triggering a catastrophic overpressure event. A shock wave exceeding 100 psi rips through the depot, treating the corrugated steel walls like wet tissue paper and turning the facility into a pressure cooker of destruction. The result is instant vaporization. The precision-machined V92S2F engines, vital for driving 50-ton tanks, are twisted into unrecognizable scrap metal in a millisecond, while the stacks of relict explosive reactive armor don't just burn, they cook off in a sympathetic detonation that shakes the forest floor. A mushroom cloud of oily black smoke and fire climbs 200 feet into the freezing night sky, turning the heavy fog into a glowing orange neon sign that tells the whole world, "We were here." As the smoke clears, the math becomes humiliating for the Kremlin. In the span of 5 minutes, 20 to 30 complete T-90M upgrade kits have ceased to exist. We are talking about a total loss to Russia of between $50 and $80 million, the equivalent of 10 to 15 brand new main battle tanks that will never be built, never reach the front, and never fire a shot. Ukraine achieved this strategic decapitation for less than $15,000, creating an asymmetric trade that would make a Wall Street broker weep with jealousy. But the fire is just the beginning of the pain. The strategic freeze is what really hurts. This wasn't just a random warehouse. It was the main artery for T-90M logistics in the southern military district. With this depot gone, damaged tanks pulled off the line will have to sit and rot for months, waiting for replacements that are now nothing but piles of molten slag. The Russian supply chain just got severed at the neck. The bottom line is simple. Russia loves to brag about the T-90M breakthrough tank, but tonight, Ukraine gave them a different kind of breakthrough, straight through the roof of their supply depot. The GOGOL-M is coming home safe, the Russian tanks are going nowhere, and the score is settled.